Wagwan Conscious Creators, thank you guys so very much for tuning into another one of my videos. I am Minister Ra, aka Minister Raj, Min Ra, or whichever one you guys want to call me. Um, but big ups to everybody for checking out another one of my videos. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the transformative practice of shadow work. Yep, shadow work. If you're not familiar with what shadow work is, then you have a lot to learn today. Um, but I'm going to be explaining what shadow work is, why it's crucial, and go into some effective, I guess, techniques that can be used to help you with, I guess, doing shadow work. And that would be important for like your personal journey and your spiritual journey, right? So stay tuned for more. Okay. So let us discuss, what shadow work is. For those of you who might not be aware of it, I know you might hear shadow work and you're like, oh, this sounds like some eerie, dark type of vibes, but no, it's not necessarily like that, right? So shadow work involves exploring the parts of ourselves that we often hide, deny, or are unaware of. These shadows include like our unconscious desires, fears, traumas, and aspects of our personality we deem unacceptable. The concept was popularized by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who believed that acknowledging and integrating these shadows is essential for personal growth. And it goes without saying that taking the time to actually address shadow work and to look deeper into ourselves can only bring forth, positive outcomes if handled in a very holistic and progressive way. But it is definitely important for each and every person to take the time to reflect on the various thoughts, desires that we carry unconsciously that might be affecting how we respond to the life that we're living today. You know, it is like a very crucial practice when we actually take time to do this type of work because it opens up the door for us on so many levels, relieving us on an emotional, mental, and even physical level. So, kudos to all you guys who have started your journey with shadow work and are working on yourselves to, grow on a spiritual level and also on a personal level. Okay, so the question then will be like, why is shadow work so important? And the key thing to understand here is that when we ignore or suppress our shadows, they can manifest in so many unhealthy ways, right? And some of those will include like projecting our issues onto others, experiencing emotional turmoil, or even physical illnesses. And by facing and embracing our shadows, we can achieve a deeper understanding of ourselves, leading to greater authenticity, emotional balance, and of course, spiritual growth. Now, I'll be the first one to say that, these things are facts because I've definitely been through a lot of this. And yes, they arose because of the fact that I was not dealing with what would be considered my shadow or the ill effects of um the issues that I was facing. I was not handling it on a conscious level. I was not doing enough to really take the time to truly understand like what it is that was hurting me on the inside or what it is that was affecting me on the inside to take a more holistic view of the situation to then be able to address it and create a better outcome at least within the time frame that I was experiencing all this. I just for whatever reason was just not able to cope. And of course, it's important that you're in an environment where you can actually be able to do the introspective work. And, you know, I guess be in a space where you're not constantly being triggered also because all this like adds up. Like, you know, of course we're not all like superhumans here, and at the end of the day we have shadows for the respective reasons, and we have to be realistic that if you're doing shadow work, then yeah, you're gonna have to be very practical in ensuring that you're creating an environment that helps to foster you being able to actually do the work. And don't fool yourself, because it's going to be very self-evident whether it is that you're actually being successful in the work or not. Because if you're still responding and repeating the same cycles, then quite evidently it means that something is not adding up. So more work needs to be done, more introspective work needs to be done. And it takes time. That's the truth and the fact of the matter. It's not anything that others should really take personally, you know but be more understanding of the context of your own journey, which is going to be unique to you, as it will be for everybody else. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'd be lying if I'd say it's not. If it's a I'd be lying if I told you guys it was easy, because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and it definitely takes a lot of courage, because it puts you in a very vulnerable place that you have to um look the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror, and be like, yo, you need to be kind of put in check with respect to how you're operating, because it's not healthy, and um it's not helping to create a healthy environment, you know and it's not helping to get me to where I want to be with my life, personally and spiritually, etc. Whatever that conversation might need to be for you, it will be different for everybody, but just giving you context here. But you have to talk to yourself, and you have to get a bit deep, um, with yourself, with this whole process, in all honesty. And like I said, it's not easy, but it's not necessarily hard, but it takes work, and that work will take time. So it's something that you kind of have to walk yourself through, like step by step, and not rush the process, if that makes sense. Okay, so this now leads me to how can we go about doing shadow work. And I thought it would be cool to just include a couple, you know, practices or techniques that you could use when doing shadow work. Now, bear in mind, guys, like, as I try to highlight in different videos, like, everybody is unique. We're all unique beings with um different likes, dislikes, patterns, interests, and we have different mediums and different ways in which that we express ourselves, and we have different things that we're receptive to, or that allow us to kind of open up. And so, you know you sometimes have to kind of feel things out, and to try different things in order to figure out like what really will help you. So these are just, it's not that you have to do everything or each one of these things, but you know starting with something will help, and it might help you to transition to doing something as you begin one, to just organically move into another. So don't necessarily try to overwhelm yourself. Just pick something and allow yourself to express just what's going on deep inside. And allow your spirit, your higher self, to kind of help you navigate through the process, because you're always being guided, and you always have support there with you. So don't doubt that, and trust that, you know and know that you have that support. So just pick something and just flow. So one of the first practices that I'd mentioned, that I personally, to this day do, is going to be journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. Reflecting on recurring themes, emotions, or situations that trigger strong reactions. Asking yourself, like, why are these things, triggering me? Why are they occurring? And what might, be revealing, or what might these situations be revealing about my shadow self? You know, trust me, journaling is like super, 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 super important. Like, more than you can ever imagine, because a lot of the times, you take those thoughts and feelings from the ethereal plane and put it onto paper in this physical reality, it helps to ease the mental burden that you carry with thinking about this so much. Um, and really allow you to take a deeper perspective in like looking from the outside onto your thought as to, yeah, like, why is this happening? And then when you read it back to yourself, it definitely gives you a sense of a like a different angle onto the situation for you to get more revelations as to what's happening. So journaling is definitely, of course, it's therapeutic, but it definitely helps you with better assessing what you got going on the inside. So I highly recommend it. Um, Another practice is going to be meditation and mindfulness, which I do my best to share with you guys on this channel, because I strongly believe that it definitely plays like these practices play like very key roles in helping us to tap into our deeper sense of self, and more than we can even imagine. Like, it's crazy. um but spending time in quiet contemplation, observing your thoughts without judgment, just being in a state of, you know a flow, just observing, just sitting back and letting things just, the thoughts move, just not trying to control anything, and just allowing things to do what they do, but at the same time paying attention to the emotions that arise and the stories that you tell yourself. This practice can help you become more aware of your shadow aspects, because you'll be surprised, because when you go into these states, especially when you have a whole lot of unresolved issues, they're going to a lot of the times be the first things that keep popping up, the things that constantly bothering you or that are on your mind a lot. They're going to come up because your higher self is pushing these things out to you to tell you, like, hey man, like, you need to work on these things. Like, they keep coming up for a reason, and the more you block it, the stronger they become, and the more impactful they become to your, or detrimental they become to your physical body, because they create energetic blockages, and the energetic blockages manifest into dis-ease in the body. So this, it's like very important to address these things, or address the different shadow aspects of our lives, through these practices. um so another practice or technique, or I guess I'd say suggestion, would be getting therapy, or counseling. And this can be professional counseling, spiritual counseling, you know and that is something that I would be offering um at this time, to provide counseling sessions and healing sessions for people who are trying to get past different, you know I deem them as energetic blockages, because everything is energy. But whether you want to call it shadow, you know work, or however you want to describe it, they stem from different energetic patterns that they need to they need to find balance and harmony. And my work is pretty much diving into that realm to help move the energy in a way that helps to support you, or to put you back into a state of homeostasis, if that makes sense. But getting that, guidance through, um in a sacred and non-judgmental space, it would definitely help you to uncover a lot that you might be missing. And the fourth practice, and I cannot, it's crazy, because I can't I can't exaggerate how important this one is, in all honesty, because it's only in the recent years, rather, that I came to really understand how crucial this is on our journey of growth. And this has to do with doing inner child work, because oftentimes our shadows stem from our childhood experiences. And so engaging in activities that help to nurture our inner child, would really help, you know, pretty much help us to, like, recall, and even put us in a position to do some reparenting, to kind of help restore, or, you know, heal, you know, from certain circumstances that we would have encountered. And this can be done, in a meditative way through visualization, play, or like role play, or, different means. But I myself I've had to do this, in different ways, and as I said, it's going to be different for everyone because, we all have different circumstances, and the feeling that we're trying to get, or the issues that need to be corrected, they might require a different angle of an approach. But all in all, though, in taking the time to do the visualizations, that would help you to recall, but then take a more holistic view on the issues that you faced, to not allow the focus to be on the negative attributes of the situation, but to either look at it from a more neutral standpoint or in a more positive way, in order for you to release yourself from the negative attributes of whatever it is that you would have went through. Because as we get older, of course, we gain more understanding with why certain things happened, and why our parents, treated us a certain way, or handled things a certain way, or, went the directions that they went, or, within our own individual circumstances, why we responded in a certain way when we were going through our own individual, knickknacks of situations. You know what I mean? But in recounting these different situations, being older at this point, it would definitely help us to move beyond those situations, and to release ourselves from the negative aspects of the situations, and moreover heal and forgive, and to let go of those things or circumstances that we pretty much may have like casted them like deep, deep, deep within the subconscious, but not understanding and casting them so far within the subconscious that they then become conditioned, um patterns of, um thoughts and behaviors, you know because they trigger certain responses, or they trigger certain thought processes, because we never address them. So different aspects of our personalities would stem from those deep dark things that we kind of just casted way in the back of our minds. And that's why I'm saying too, it's like it's so important to have an environment where you can feel safe, and it's like a sacred space for you to be able to talk about these things, and to release yourself energetically, emotionally, you know um mentally, from these different circumstances. But don't underestimate the inner child work, like seriously. um it's crazy. And the thing is too, why it's important is because you have to understand that, you know we tend to replicate the same, some of the time, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, replicate the same patterns of behavior that our parents practice with us onto our kids. And we might not realize it, and we might realize it too late sometimes, but that also, you know goes to show why it's important to kind of handle these things before even getting into the whole phase of being parents, because we're only carrying on a cycle that genetically gets passed on from your parents' parents, to your parents, to you, to your kids. And it is important to break certain patterns of behavior so that it can allow for further growth, because it only creates the same repeated cycle, you know. But I guess I'm gonna have to do a separate video on the whole inner child work, because this is really deep and it's really important in truth and in fact. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. And I've definitely had to spend a lot of time working on myself with respect to inner child work, because a lot of my anger and frustration towards life stem from those phases, in just not understanding, but throughout my adult years, being able to understand what it is that we were going through as a family and all these different things allowed me to more maturely address these things within me and to foster better relationships within my family, you know. So it's really important. Um, so the last one, guys, is going to be creative expression through art. Obviously you can use, like I said, art, music, dance to express emotions that are probably hard to put into words. And so creativity can be like a very powerful tool for bringing shadows to light and to shift those energies into a more positive and higher frequency, um, that would allow for healing and for forgiveness and for love to be, made manifested in these situations. Um, and again, this is another practice that I definitely have utilized throughout the years. I don't necessarily do as much art now, um, but definitely singing and music, definitely helpful in, I guess, transmuting the energy in a certain way and just kind of being able to move the energy from in me to just outside, to just release it through those expressive means. Um, so yeah, so those are like five very simple practices that you can, start like literally right now to get working on yourself, to do the shadow work that's necessary for you to, heal and, move beyond where you're at. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling, like, you're like either damaging yourself or the environment around you based on your own unconscious patterns of behavior. You know what I mean? So trust and believe this is like real stuff. I know it's a little deep, but it's definitely real stuff, man. So what happens like if we neglect our shadow work, you know? Without acknowledging our shadows, they can dominate our behavior and relationships. We might find ourselves, like, just as I mentioned, stuck in patterns of self sabotage, engaging in destructive behaviors, or struggling with deep seated insecurities. Unaddressed shadows can hinder our ability to live fully and authentically, as I mentioned before. You know, whether because of the insecurities or because of just always shying away from the truth. Sometimes we have to face the face ourselves in the mirror. And as I said, be humbled by what is versus what we're trying to create as an illusory means of coping with the external realities of our circumstances. So when we commit to shadow work, we embark on a path of profound transformation. We start to see ourselves more clearly, accept our whole selves, and experience a sense of wholeness, which is so, so, so important on our spiritual journeys. So, this journey not only enhances our personal growth, but also deepens our spiritual connection, not just within ourselves, but just with the broader world outside of us, allowing us to live more meaningfully and harmoniously. So, I encourage you all, if you've gotten to this segment of the video towards the end, like, definitely take time to do that introspective work. As I said, like, it's not about having to be perfect or needing to rush to get to a certain place or state, but just looking at it from a progressive standpoint, that you slowly but surely become more self-aware, and that then allows you to truly navigate your life in a much healthier way. And you know it brings a lot more clarity to your path and to the circumstances that you might be facing. So I definitely hope you guys learned some good nuggets, from this video. Like I said, guys, it's a journey. Life is such an amazing journey, and we just have to open ourselves to that wavelength of accepting that reality and not choosing another reality. That it is an amazing journey that is here to teach us, and if we're open to learning, then the lessons are there to be learned. So keep yourself open, guys. And what you need will be there for you during the time that you need it. But just keep yourself open. So again, guys, thank you so much for staying here with me. I know this is a long one of my videos, but for joining me in exploring shadow work today. If you found this video helpful, definitely like, share it, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can get more content on personal growth, spiritual development, you know and it's it's my honor, it's my pleasure to connect with you guys in this way and to walk in my truth, to be myself, and to share with you guys. So as always, I express my sincere love and gratitude to each and every single one of you guys out there. Man, I'm sending so much love, you know so much love. And again, thank you guys for the support, thank you guys for being on this journey with me. I'll continue to share.